I wonder, Alina, if you want to just kind of take us into wherever we're going to go, and we get to just all be glad we're here together.
Yeah, let's. So without saying too much yet about what we're going to do today, I just want to jump straight into the introduction round. And what I want to ask everyone to do is say their name, where they're from, and make a sound. So like an E or an oo or an ah or something that feels like it's the right sound for this moment. If it's not too much to ask. And I can start. I'm Eline. I'm in Nijmegen. And my sound today is... and Pam, you're up next.
Okay. Hi, I'm Pam. I'm in Dallas, Texas. And I think my sound today is...
Wow, yeah.
Oh, and before I forget, I want you to remember the sound that you made. So, yeah. Nancy, you're up next.
I'm Nancy. I'm in Micanopy, Florida. And my sound is, ooh.
That's a good sound. Thank you. Robin, what about you?
I'm Robin, and I'm on Walloon Lake in northern Michigan, and my sound is ow.
Thank you. Lynn, what about you?
Hi, I'm Lynn from Billings, Montana, and my sound is la 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 la.
Thank you. Linda?
I'm Linda from Portland, Maine. And my sound is arg.
Ooh. I like that. Nikki, what's your sound today?
Okay, I'm Nikki. I'm from Central Wisconsin, and my sound today would be ow.
That makes me want to move right with you. Thank you. Sue, how about you?
I'm Sue. I'm just outside of Portland, Maine, and I think my sound is yummy, 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 yummy.
Good. For the new people who just came in, it's pretty simple, but we're doing names, where we're from, and a sound that is this moment. Allison, you're up next.
I'm Allison. I'm in Edgecombe, Maine, and my sound is sheesh.
Good one. Katie.
I'm Katie, joining you from Houston, and my sound right now is brr, because it's nothing. No one knows what's happening.
Thank you. Dulcie, what about you?
I'm Dulcie. I'm in Topsham, Maine, and my sound is fuck.
Thank you. Vanessa, what about you?
Hi, I'm Vanessa, calling from Miami, Florida, and my sound is
Thank you. It's very nice to see where all of you are at sound-wise. Oh, and we have Pizza Steve coming in. Hello, Steve. We were just finishing up a round of introductions. So if you want to take us home, we're doing a name, where you are, and a sound that is you in this moment.
Okay. Well, I'm Steve, and I'm in Washington, D.C., and I guess my sound would be
Welcome.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here. So now that we all, well, Steve doesn't know anyone's sound, But maybe what we can do for Steve is all unmute ourselves, and then I'll do a countdown and we can all do our sounds at once, just so we have a collective feeling of what all our sounds are. Are you ready for it? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Applause for us. I think we're done for today. That's it. Welcome everyone. Like it said on the website, we're going to talk about our bodies and stories today. I think what I believe in most with writing is that stories can come from two places. You can formulate a story in your head and compose nice sentences and think of what something needs to be, or there's all these body parts that carry stories with them too. I have studied creative writing for the past 5.5 years, and I'm hearing tomorrow if I graduated. Thank you. And I think what we did in our studies most was writing from a very brainy place, like what is good literature and how, what is a good sentence and how is pain exposed in the most beautiful way, which can be very helpful too in like learning how to write. But I think what was very helpful to me was that alongside that study, I also did a lot of therapy and worked with my body. And what I learned there is if something happens to you and you don't immediately have the space or time or wisdom to process it or to deal with it, it nestles someplace in your body. And like it can be in your knee or in your tiny toe, or like our whole body is not just constructed of organs and muscles that do these practical things, but they also hold us up in a different way. And next month I'm going to start studying to be a holistic massage therapist. And what we're doing there is really connecting parts of the body to like a bigger picture. Like for example, when I did my introduction there, we did a knee massage, and your knee is usually a part of the body that not a lot of people touch. Like when was the last time someone massaged your knee? That is not something, like it might not even sound attractive to have your knee massaged. But if you think about your knees are very much the thing that keep you up, and your knees are also your bending points. So they stand for how far are you willing to bend for someone. And also a lot of maybe unwanted touch starts with a hand on the knee. So all those things are stored in that knee. And you can look at any body part like that, like your elbows. You use your elbows to make space for yourself, to maybe be angry and to have that space for yourself. Or like the pancreas. The pancreas is where you process sugar, and sugar is often used as a substitute for love. So that place in your body is where love comes in or gets stuck or is stuffed with a substitute for love. Yeah, and I just love thinking about the body in that way. And I also love thinking about my writing in this way. And I think what I'm trying to do and what I'm hoping to get better at is holding myself accountable for where do my stories come from? Does this story actually come from the place in my body that it needs to come from? Or does this story come from my brain? Is it the story that I think it needs to be, or is it the story that it actually is? And that's what I kind of want to work on with you today. And just last week, I learned a really cool thing. which is that there is sounds that are connected to different body parts, which is why I'll ask you to introduce yourself with a sound. So there is, let's see, 5 sounds that go from like head to underbelly. And the first sound is E, which is the sound of your head. Then there's A, which is the sound of your throat. Then there's Ah, which is the sound of your chest. Then there's O, which is the sound of your upper belly. And then there's Oo, which is the sound of your underbelly. And what I would like to do with you is to just go through all of those sounds. And I want to see if you can feel that sound actually resonate in that body part. Or maybe it's hard to feel it resonate in that body part. And I want you to, let's see, what are we going to do? If you want to, you can unmute yourself and make sounds with me. And if you feel more comfortable doing it in your own space, in your own weird voice, that's totally okay too. Or we're just going to try and see what happens. We'll start with the E. E. And then we'll move on through the throat to A. And then we're going to move on to our chest to Ah. And we're going to go one lower to O. O. And then we're going to go to our final sound, which is Oo. Funny, right? How that works, that you kind of, or at least for me, what it means is that I really get into my body, and it's this weird feeling to have a sound and to then think about that body part and to feel the differences between how in some places they actually connect to each other and how in other places they don't. And then to think about what that means if they do or don't connect. So what I want to do for our short warm-up ride is for you to go back to that sound that you made in the beginning to introduce yourself. And if it's one of the sounds that actually relates to one of the body parts, that's great. If it's not one of those, maybe try and think what body part you think that sound relates to, because there's still like limbs and stuff left that we haven't put a sound to. And I want you to take 3 minutes to just write about what that sound or that body part means to you. And if that's a hard place to start, maybe take the sound and find other words that have the same sound in there and see if you can find something from there. So let's take about 3 minutes and then we'll come back. Yep. And if you're ready, you can finish up writing what you're writing right now and then come back to me. I'm really curious to hear what that was like. So if anyone wants to share what they wrote or just some general thoughts, this is your moment.
Lena, I'll read a little bit, just what I
Yes.
wrote. Today it was joy. Other days it may mean something different. Exasperation, frustration, maybe even fear. It resonates from the lungs, an outpouring of air, released from the inside, needing to be free. An outpouring of air, a voice that is desperate to be heard, to be understood, a silent scream.
Mm.
Whatever, wherever that came from.
Wow.
I loved the notion that a sound can mean different things and can have different emotions in different moments, but that it still comes from those same lungs. Thank you. Sue?
Go. Yum, 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 Valentine's chocolate, soul fulfilling. What part of me loves that taste? Smooth, creamy, melty. But I don't think it's the taste so much as the feel, partly the feel of Dulcie's, fuck, this may not be good, this saturated fat for my physical heart, but the yumminess is whole body joy, at least for the time, at least for the moments it feels yummy, that it speaks the wonder of yummy.
Thank you. I loved that you said physical heart, like without saying that you can have multiple different hearts, the physical hearts. Just put it all right there. Thank you. Katie?
Yeah, mine took me somewhere I didn't expect to go, but Burr, because it's fucking cold here. My bones are cold. Bones hold me up, hold me together. Skeletal easel on which this canvas of skin is stretched. Burr like I'm angry or sad or something feels stuck. Or air, ERR, as in just let yourself make mistakes and be human. Or air that we all need to breathe to stay alive, that people can't get enough of right now. Choking, whether in the ER, COVID unit, or under the knee of a police officer. The air is cold and brings me back to Burr.
Mm.
Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Yeah. The transformation of the sound and that whole spectrum of things that are just have the cold seeped into them like deeply. Yeah, thank you. Lynn?
Can I just say something about what she wrote, please? Are we allowed to do that? Hello?
Yes, you are.
I love the skeleton. You said something about a skeleton that was just really punched me. I mean, not punched me literally, but you know what I mean. So this is what I wrote, which is really, never mind. I'm not going to say what, I'm just going to read it like you said.
Good.
La la. La la is the L sound, and with A together, and with A together, a sound coming from my tongue to the upper roof of my mouth, in back of my front teeth. The A sound is, like you said, Elena, coming from my throat. Together they make a joyful sound, like running, like in the sound of music, a long, long way to run.
Thank you.
Just simple.
But the technical aspect of how a sound lays in your mouth, I enjoyed that a lot. Thank you. Yeah. Vanessa, and then we'll do Linda, and then we'll move on to our big ride because otherwise we'll run out of time. But Vanessa.
Mama. deep in my belly, the parts that crave sugar and love, the parts I'm starting to listen to, the tone and timbre getting clearer every day until I can make out the words, myself, mama, more peace, more love, more pleasure.
Ugh. I love that. And I love that it's the sounds very from the belly too. And then those words connected to it just felt so true. Thank you. Linda, will you share with us what you wrote?
Okay. Arg. It's a womb twisting sound, born of frustration and fury. And how dare you? How could they? Don't let them get away with it sound, echoing to an empty cosmos, one that hears and sees and speaks no evil.
Womb twisting. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. Before we go into our big write, I wanted to read something to you. I've been reading this book, The History of Love, it's called in English. And I'm reading it in Dutch. And the part that I wanted to read to you was really beautiful in Dutch. And I found it online in English, but I haven't read it as well as the Dutch part. So I hope it has the same ring to it. My heart is weak and unreliable. When I go, it'll be my heart. I try to burden it as little as possible. If something is going to have an impact, I direct it elsewhere. My gut, for example, or my lungs, which might seize up for a moment, but have never yet failed to take another breath. When I pass a mirror and catch a glimpse of myself, or I'm at the bus stop and some kids come up behind me and say, "Who smells shit?" Small daily humiliations. These I take, generally speaking, in my liver. Other damages I take in other places. The pancreas I reserve for being struck by all that's been lost. It's true that there's been so much and the organ is so small, but you would be surprised how much it can take. All I feel is a quick, sharp pain, and then it's over. Sometimes I imagine my own autopsy. Disappointment in myself, right kidney. Disappointment of others in me, left kidney. Personal failures, kishkes. I don't mean to make it sound like I've made a science of it. It's not that well thought out. I take it where it comes. It's just that I notice certain patterns. When the clocks are turned back and the dark falls before I'm ready, this, for reasons I can't explain, I feel in my wrists. And when I wake up and my fingers are stiff, almost certainly I was dreaming of my childhood. The field where we used to play, the field in which everything was discovered and everything was possible. We ran so hard we thought we would spit blood. To me, that is the sound of childhood. Heavy breathing and shoes scraping the hard earth. Stiffness of the fingers is the dream of childhood as it's been returned to me at the end of my life. I have to run them under the hot water, steam clouding the mirror, outside the rustle of pigeons. Yesterday, I saw a man kicking a dog and I felt it behind my eyes. I don't know what to call this, a place before tears. The pain of forgetting, spine. The pain of remembering, spine. All the times I suddenly realized that my parents are dead. Even now, it still surprises me to exist in the world while that which has made me has ceased to exist. My knees. It takes half a tube of Bengay and a big production just to bend them. To everything a season, to every time I've woken only to make the mistake of believing for a moment that someone was sleeping beside me, a hemorrhoid. Loneliness, there is no organ that can take it all. Every morning, a little more. I just think that this piece of writing, if we're talking about writing from the body, just does it all. Like the subtleties of which thing hits where, but not having it be an exact science, but just something that happens. And what I want to invite you to do today is to write from a place of your body that just calls to be written from. And we're gonna do so for 30 minutes. And Dulcie, do you think we should do breakout groups, or do you think this group is small enough to just come back together?
Let's stay together.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll have,
So-
because we'll have an hour and we can maybe take a break, after
Yeah.
some time.
Yeah, and maybe,
That way we get to hear everybody's piece.
me too.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe since we're still kind of early on time, take 5 minutes to just sit or take a small walk or have a sip of water, and maybe just have a little feel which part of your body it is that you need to write from, and then start, and we'll come back at 5 past the hour. Great.
I have a question.
Yes.
Eileen, what is it exactly you want us to write about? Can you help me?
Well, I can't help you with what to write about.
No, I know.
But what I would like to invite you to do is you can take the sound that you made and the place in your body that it connects to and write from there. Or maybe there's this other body part that calls to you to write from, and maybe there's a story connected to it that springs into your head.
Okay.
Right now. Just
Sorry,
whatever comes to you and feels bodily. Thing is to have one more sound choir of all of us together, and you can make the same sound, or if you feel like it should be a different sound right now, it can be a different sound. So if you all want to, I think, unmute yourself, and then I'm gonna do another countdown for another big sound choir, and then we're gonna go into reading. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I loved our collective.
I recorded it.
You did? Oh, that's great.
Put it on our CD.
Yes. Wow, the musical. Yeah. So who would like to, or let's start about how we're gonna do, oh yeah, Nancy, you get to write first, or you get to read first. But what I wanted to say first is, Dulcie, do you think it's a good idea to do feedback the same way we did it last week, to just speak to the pieces of text that stand out to you or that you feel? Or if we're gonna stay with this whole sound thing, you can also just make a sound at the end of the piece.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. And I think, Nancy, you want to start?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Inside my mouth, in a place I cannot see, my and my tongue worry, dart away, worry again. How is it now, they ask. Oh, still so tender, tender like wound, tender like Alina's place before tears. Too many tears, slipping from eyes to running nose to this hillock of pain that can't be seen, but sings out its sorrow, taps its drum pulse, its sound, the Sundance singer's wail pierced with burn and perhaps with I lie awake in my daughter's house, the wail so loud I can't sleep or even rest. A wail only mine to hear and only here in this inside place I cannot see. My mother, before she left my house, began to crumble so, like this. Her need for me, her shame, and my requirement of love that carried, that soothed and wiped, that lived somewhere between no and yes, how we had been and where we inevitably would go. Now I am mother and Annie is daughter, and in the dark and swollen inside place, I may need her help. Is this how alone my mother felt? Is this how alone it comes for all of us? Only a spot in my mouth, only pain, only worry. My grandmother with her fears and her soft skin. Her mother who bore children too and clamped down on her pain as she prayed. And her mother too, the shrieking pain of cold and of burning. If pain is here to tell us something, what message can it be? These women turn to me, their keening filling the shadowy halls. They cannot help but to say, yes, my dear, yes, it's like that. You will feel these things and you will worry over them. Much as you will try not to, you will need your daughter as she once needed you. And so you will give her the gift all your mothers gave you of pain and limitation and sacrifice, pierced into grace, burned into truth, and as a place before tears.
You will need your daughter like she once needed you. Yeah.
I can hear the keening in the halls.
I love that line, the pierced into grace, burned into truth. I think that was it. I love that line. And hillock of pain.
I'm not sure I got it exactly, but is this how alone she felt?
Yeah.
Oops.
Dulcie, I think you're saying something, but we can't hear you for some reason, or I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now.
I guess move my hand. The connecting of such a specific place to this line, this lineage, and then at the lineage, it expands out into so much of what was there. And then it comes back to this only a spot in my mouth. That just feels so big in me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next? Robin?
The exterior sameness. I think most about clear eyes from enough sleep, hearing a conversation, moving inside scenery. The aging parts conquer and divide without my permission. My knee throbs, a softball of inflammation, bouncing on all fours, chasing my 17-month-old grandson around the coffee table. Gotcha! His squealing laughter, everything. The last chase of the evening around my daughter's living room, now the playroom, and play is what we do. Gated and plugged against danger, it's only George's Nana to run from. Gotcha, he says to me. Really, acha. He rounds the couch when a wobble under my kneecap causes his prey to buckle. George squeals louder. Ow, I wince. Something shifts. Something moves from its warm cave under the patella, that dome of armor like a tortoise shell. Okay, reading time. I retreat and hobble to sit on the couch where 20 minutes earlier we called it our boat. George climbs up on my lap and snuggles in for sing-songy books about the day and the life of farm animals or the fin-tastic wonders of sharks, pufferfish, and an octopus with plastic tentacles George touches. Then in my high-pitched Nana excited voice, call them testicles. Oh boy, my daughter laughs from the kitchen. Not the first slippery faux pas, nor the last I'll make. My knee throbs. I prop it up on the couch and scoot George over. Nana has an owie. Ma, he says, more. I start from the beginning. Aren't sharks and pufferfish verboten to humans, especially to kids? Why do we make them friendly, primary colored, and with a sense of humor, which I've lost the ability to understand with my knee on fire? I wouldn't trust George in the water with these sinister creatures, nor do I trust myself to stand up. Nana has a problem. George slides off my lap, toddles around the door, the starting square of living room in our gotcha game. He wants me to drop on all fours, eye level with him, the way adults should measure up with little people. I feel my limbs start to reach for the floor, but the knee doesn't cooperate. That incandescent glob of jelly living peacefully under my kneecap suddenly woke. Gotcha, it says. Okay. This is what I'm icing my knee
Robin, I love the image of the patella being the turtle's back, and everything, the incandescent, whatever you called it, as though it just woke up. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aging parts conquer and divide without my permission.
That, yes, I love that. I have to say, I love that too. Aging parts without my permission. That's great, Robin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also in talking about the sharks and how they make them fun for kids, and then saying the line was, nor do I trust myself to stand up. That was such a sharp twist. Yeah. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next?
Go.
Yes, Allison.
Okay. I remember feeling the effortlessness of inhabiting my body. I was lucky when I was young in the genes I inherited and the culture by which I was surrounded. When I was a teenager, it was more about what you could do or would do with your body than what it looked like. Having a pretty face was an advantage, no doubt about that, but what counted the most was fearlessness. And fearless I was, because in my body I felt strength, like I could stretch to the moon, swim the length of a lake, dive under gigantic waves, and run and run and run. I could hold my breath for minutes on end, swing high up in the air, and then leap and dance into the wee hours of the morning. My body was legible when my heart and mind were not. There are parts of our bodies that recall our younger years, the muscles of my calves, your shoulders and back, your laughing blue eyes, my summer freckles. Our ever-graying hair is physical evidence of the patience required of us both to understand every day what we bring to this union. Embedded in the wrinkles around our eyes are our sunny days, while the now permanent dark circles under them are the marks of not enough money, grudges, and distance. Your callous hands made our home. I have learned to trust what it means when there is a heaviness in my chest, restlessness in my bones, or foreboding in my heart. I happily relinquished my lightness to find a steady stillness with you.
Mm.
I loved, I don't have it right, but there are parts of our bodies that remember I don't have the rest of that line, but just so beautiful. And then the list of those rememberings. And then of course that last line, relinquish, relinquish my lightness for a steady, this such beautiful, beautiful writing.
There's not, the word surrender isn't in there, but it's like this visceral description of a surrender. And there was also a line that just totally zinged me, which was, my body was legible when my heart and mind were not. You said the word legible there.
Yeah.
Oh, just killed me.
Yeah.
I loved the line, patience required every day, what we bring to this union. I know I'm saying that wrong, but oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, everybody.
Nikki.
Okay. Storage unit. I think about the time I went back to California and cleaned out my storage unit, flinging things into the back of a truck, getting ready to cart them away. I thought for too long there were things I needed to keep. I think about the thing they say about how your unresolved emotions get trapped inside your body, your organs becoming 8x10 units with a rolling metal door and a combination lock. If you could remember the numbers, you could unearth dusty traumas and release trapped and frail creatures back into the wild where they belong. But maybe you've forgotten on purpose because you're afraid of what you'll find. You believe the feral animals may devour you instead. You think about how emotional pain travels through the body, the times you get hit squarely in the chest or the throat, and you feel the bullets melt downward, sometimes dissolving, but probably more often than not, getting lodged in the lower abdomen. You think this makes sense given everything. You wonder when it started, and you can trace it back to the tiny years when you were sure you'd done something unforgivable. But in those times, for you, it was largely catch and release, the poison breaking apart with a loud cry and warm arms. But then as the world expanded, you were introduced to the concept of less than and not enough. You didn't know what to do, for example, when a young Bible class friend shamed and rejected you because you didn't correctly recite some facts as she saw them, thus proving you were an unworthy and terrible Christian. You wondered if Jesus would reject you too. Later, you had come to recognize the sad irony and hilarity of it, but the rejection was real. The body remembered and recalled the idea that other people had more and better information than you. You would question yourself again and again for many years until you realized most people were making it up as they went along.
I didn't write it exactly how you said, but the unearthing dusty traumas and releasing the animals back into the wild.
I did that, those trapped and feral creatures into the wild.
Yeah, that catch and release.
Catch and release, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the use of the second person. It just felt like it was so personal and then also universalizing it.
Yeah. And also the organs as storage units.
Yeah.
And then combined with the you just sent me right into my own gut. And I could feel the doors of my storage unit go.
Yeah. I really like that. And you've forgotten the combination. That was a beautiful touch.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Nikki.
I'll go.
Yes, please.
Okay. Difficult to choose just one place in my body, to tune in and tell the story of just one. When I close my eyes and listen, they all clamor for my attention, like the school children who cause the most disruptions, making up for the attention they're deprived at home. When I turn inward, my body parts all have something to say. Mostly, they are just glad I'm listening at all. The spaces where my neck meets my shoulders tell me that maybe I've been more anxious lately than I realize. When I'm in uncomfortable social situations or have to advocate for myself, my shoulders rise towards my ears without me even noticing. Sometimes I'll become aware that they're raised, take a deep breath, roll them down my back, and wonder how long they've been held up there. My lower back reminds me how much it misses yoga, how much it needs that dedicated time on the mat, that it was not created to stand all day at a marble desk at work, that it is nourished by attention and movement, not a paycheck. I think when I get really still though, there is one place that speaks the loudest. I don't know what to call it. It lies nestled between my belly button and my breastbone. I can feel a pulsing radiating from this center, an energetic black hole at my core. Not in a negative way, but in the most human of ways. It is the place where I store my questions I don't like to think about too often. Like whether or not I can really trust the universe to take care of me, or if I should try one more time to do it all by myself. I can feel a tightening here. My breath grows shorter as I tap into what secrets have been hidden in this sacred space within me. Maybe it's part of my gut, my second brain. Maybe it is the place where my ego gives birth to my fears, my worry womb. Whatever it is, I know it needs love and attention. I know that I cannot avoid something and heal it at the same time. My body is wise. She is adaptable. She has survived things my brain does not remember. Perhaps if I make a practice of listening to her and honoring what she needs, I can find a more suitable place to store my fears than at her very core. Maybe there could be a reckoning, not a sudden, massive one, but a slow and intentional unfolding back into the warmth of my own arms. A shedding of the skin and the hair and the shame I don't need anymore. The natural and somehow foreign process of turning my body back into my home.
I was just
Wow.
thinking, this is so wise. And the next line you said is, my body is wise.
I love that shedding part. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Just beautiful. I could just feel it's like you're kind of dancing through your life and writing it. Wow. That was really great. Thank you.
Can't ignore and heal at the same time.
Back into the warmth of my own arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded
Well-
like a question and answer it was almost like the narrator was talking to a friend or a lover. It was her body, which is your friend and lover.
Yeah.
And worry womb.
Oh, the worried womb.
Worry
Yeah.
womb. Oh.
And also that line about being nourished by creation and movement, not a paycheck.
Yes.
Yes,
Write
that
that down.
is one I
Yeah.
Right?
wrote.
That's like a ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That one's got, it says everything in such a few words.
Katie, can you just read that last line again? Because it was so perfect and
The last line,
yeah, just that last line.
a shedding of the skin and the hair and the shame I don't need anymore. The natural and somehow foreign process of turning my body back into my home.
And the home, back into my home. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. Lynn, I can see you.
I'll read. This is hard for me, so hard. I feel a lump in my throat growing bigger and my body feels tight, almost frozen, like I'm an ice sculpture outside in the 20 below temperature, exposed as people walk by, staring at me covered up. They're covered up in down coats and covering their perfect bodies, with fake fur hats covering their heads, gloves keeping their hands warm, and leather boots that stay on their feet and slim legs. This face of mine is covered, is cracked ice, oozing with pimples from my 12-year-old self. A face, hidden away in the back corner of the lunchroom, trying to eat anything, but nothing tastes, nothing smells, nothing goes in my mouth, but a bite or two. My eyes stay down, down, as I walk the long hall to class, rushing past the long-legged beauties and boys with dark hair and blue eyes. Sitting in the desks, the first 2 rows of desks, I run to the back row, eyes looking down at the linoleum gray floor. My face tries to listen to Mr. Lambert talking about history, but the boils and pimples on my face begin to hurt. The hurt travels to my forehead. Hurting is a pounding, then a sharp stabbing pain like a knife that won't stop penetrating my head and my face. My stomach starts to turn somersaults and I lay my head down on my arms, praying. These skinny arms will hold my face, my head for just a little longer until the bell rings. My arms and hand go up. Can I go to the girls' room? I'm going to be sick. Yes, he says without a glance my way, take the pass. Running down the hall, running faster, desperate. Feels like I'm running from a gang about to beat me into non-existence. I make it and throw up in the toilet, heart pounding, face sweating, tears holding onto my eyes. My hand grabs a paper towel. I wet it with running cold water. The towel is drenched in cold water and I lean over the sink, covering my face with cold water, cooling the hot sobs that now can't stop. The towel stays on my face for a long time. I lift it, my face, my eyes peer at the eyes looking back at me in the mirror. They're hazel, full of light, green and blue with specks of yellow. The rest of my face is covered by a soggy, wet paper towel. We blink at each other, the mirror and me. My head hurts less as the loud bell rings. I throw away the towel, grab my backpack and head to my locker as the giggling, gushing girls rush into the girls' room. One bumps into me. I'm sorry, she says. It's okay, I mumble. You're new here. Her face has only soft, unblemished, white porcelain skin showing, and her lips are full and pink. Look at me. Hi, I'm Marcy. What's your name? I look down again, then my eyes find hers. I'm Lynn. Yes, I'm new. My mouth gives a reluctant smile. Welcome, she says. I hope we can visit sometime. The end.
Wow.
We blink at each other.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was so moved by that, of course, but
I can't hear you.
I was so very moved by that. And, starting with the ice sculpture and like the ice sculpture, but the ice sculpture.
I can't hear.
You can't hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, me?
Yeah.
Can you hear the rest of us?
Yeah.
Lynn, can you hear me?
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh no. No,
What if-
that's terrible.
Yeah, we all want to tell her the amazing thing.
I'm gonna write things.
No,
I'm
we
gonna
all
write
look like
things.
we're taunting.
I'm gonna write things.
yeah. We have to put stuff in the chat here.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can probably hear you. Can you, somebody say something?
Can you hear us?
I don't know what happened, but now I
Oh.
can.
You can hear us now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Whew. Isn't that a trip?
Now.
Just that happened. Lynn, that was spellbinding. It felt like being trapped within, you know, that Janice Ian song 17, right? It's like absolutely nailed right in place there with the aching, self-conscious lack of self-worth, and comparative belief that everyone else is, was
Perfect.
and yet, yes, that's the thing, is it was not too much.
And then the contrast with this perfect girl with the white porcelain skin and swollen pink lips, who you think is going to just heap on, and she doesn't, and it's the relief is so enormous.
Yeah.
We were saved a little bit by the hazel eyes.
Yeah.
Right? That at that point, there's a sense of, okay, you know, and there's light in them. And I felt like I could look up then.
I love the narrators continuing repetitive words, like eyes look down and down and down, and the water. There was something about the water too. It was just, you know, it really spoke to the images in your piece.
Yeah.
It was very strong, very strong.
And to add on about the eye color, that was also the point where I felt like, oh, this girl is going to be okay.
Yes.
Just because of that simple mentioning of the eye color, and yeah.
There was, the moment that the eyes blinked back at you. That's, exactly, Alina. I felt like, oh, okay. She's got this.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Lynn.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
I can go next.
Brian.
I see 2 hands going up.
I can go.
Yeah. We'll do Sue first and then Linda. Is that okay?
Something happened to my body story last week. The story of I am woman, hear me roar. I am strong, I am invincible. I called it bobblehead. That's what happened. Neck muscles slacked, head bobbing and not stopping when I tried to use my strong, invincible mind to steady my head on my neck. But my head kept dropping and my neck muscles let go, and so did my throat and tongue. No words. Well, yes, but spotty and slurred and indistinguishable words, slow words, tongue bobbing around too. This is the something that interrupted my I'm immortal body story, rearranged my plans for snowshoeing the next day, because snowshoeing that day might have started the bobble. The doctors asked me, was it strenuous? Yes, I said. I did not say, isn't it supposed to be? So body now turned over to science and specialists and scans of the brain and ultrasounds of the heart and blood taken from veins, and one nurse in the ER in charge of looking at all of those charts above my head, blood pressure, heartbeats, a person in charge of my body right then, who said, I'll take out your IV now. And in my brain clear enough to show her my bare arms, both of them, thin and freckled, I said, see, I have no IV. And another in charge nurse saying, well, we'll get to the bottom of your dizziness. And I didn't ask, but I closed my eyes to check with my head, to ask my whole not spinning body in what seemed to my perception like a not spinning room, I'm not dizzy. I was not dizzy. Specialists inspect parts, don't they? So far, a neurologist has found a benign brain tumor. No worries, he said, probably been there 40 years, probably not related to bobblehead, which, by the way, he said, is a very odd symptom. A cardiologist found a hole in my heart. No worries, he said. That was formed when you were an embryo. You've lived with this for 71 years, probably not related to bobblehead, which he said is not a common symptom. But I was more focused on my whole body with questions like, can I go for a walk? My whole body loves that question, all of me, the left, right of it, the solid foot plant on the ground, grounded, the knees bending, lifting, moving, hips swinging, torso breathing, shoulders not having to shoulder anything during a walk, not having to hold up anything. Can I take this whole body for a walk? I wanted to know. But that was actually not my first thought. My first thought, with words like stroke or TIA or cardiac chambers of the heart or a portal in the heart, was, wait a minute. I shoulder a lot of people. I can't be sick. This heart, these chambers take care of people who can't take care of me. And while they focused on a tiny hole between the chambers of my heart, I was thinking, holy, wholeheartedness. I was thinking whole body, as in, what does this mean now? A new form to my body story, a new body narrative. That this event, this episode, none of these specialists know what else to call bobblehead, is and will be transformational, as in transform, as in a new form. So I know my life is rearranged, and I know I need to shoulder less weight that is not or may not be mine to carry. And I know that this portal into the chambers, which they don't know what to call yet, that there'll be a new vitality, not a Helen Reddy vitality, but an opening in the heart.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Oh, Sue, I was so caught up in it that I forgot to think about lines or words or anything other than just the images and the bobbleheadedness. It's not a symptom, common symptom. Thank you.
I was so caught in it too, but I did notice the repetition there of, and that's part of how we were brought into it, was the nurses saying the unrelated, and by the way, it's kind of a weird symptom, and then that's again and again. So that really got me right in with this incredible, and then and even the your attention to detail around the words transform. It's really got the feeling of how else am I going to understand this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll take apart some words and see if that does it. You know, this I don't know what it is yet thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you, Sue. And ooh, yeah.
Mm.
I loved the, can I go for a walk? My whole body loves that question.
Right. How many people wrote that? Yes.
Yeah.
And it kept coming back to the idea of, wait a minute, don't be talking about my parts.
Mhm.
It's like what I need to get the whole in, you know.
Mhm.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, and this heart, these chambers.
Mhm.
That was just such a wonderful way of phrasing it.
In the medical, that there's that idea of each specialist inspecting a specific part, and you're wondering, you know, about your whole self, and the doctors are just piecemealing what their specialty is.
Mm-hmm.
Such a beautiful job of like taking that full circle. And to Nancy's point about the transformation, formation, it was absolutely gorgeous piece.
Mm.
And
Thank
at the beginning, the mentioning of interrupting my I'm immortal body story. And then towards the end, the narrator saying, well, now I get to have a new body narrative. And what am I going to choose for that to be? Really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sue. Linda?
Look at me. Write about me, my womb cries out. Listen to me. You can't pretend I'm not there, that I didn't bleed for you and give birth for you, that I didn't give you pleasure and draw you inexorably toward making connection. What? You're writing about your little toe? What's that got to do with the arg that this week of trials and tepid Valentines has produced? What has that got to do with the miracle of who you are, with your passions and powers and purpose? It's safe, you say, that toe of yours, all nestled securely in your LL Bean boots and walking you around the block 3 times a day. Give me a break. Can't you admit that you are bored out of your gourd by this life of easy routine? Don't you get it? I'm the one who offers you an out, who goads you into broadening your horizons with my irrepressible desire for experience and adventure. Let's fly in that hang glider. Let's go to Easter Island and commune with the spirits of those stone heads. Let's step in places that your little toe would never dare dip itself into. I offer you the abundance of life, the shining ones and the flower of life, a web of connection with all that is. I'm the one responsible for all those rocks you paint and that memoir you finally finished. I have cracked open the creativity of your dear soul. There's so much more to come, if only you dare to embrace me and the tangle of emotion that I hold. So what do you say? Don't set your sights so low, Linda. You aren't done yet, you know. Unless, of course, you choose to write about your little toe.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
This writing here today is killing me. Ooh.
Yeah.
I love when it says, aren't you bored?
And rhymes it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Even putting the toe in the bean boots.
Yeah.
It's like this great touch.
Yeah.
And then it coming back to, I mean, I love the voice of this womb.
Yes.
She's very bossy.
Yeah.
And she has a list of things against you that she would like to bring up. And it's like she's been waiting to have this conversation with you. And then we could go places that your little toe would never dream of dipping into.
Yeah.
I had a smile on my face the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved the cheeky life force of this womb. And I can't wait for my womb to kind of talk. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Who else would like to read today?
I can go.
Yes, please.
Heart of life, soul of creation, breathing winter's thaw, spine rising, earth renewing, sweet air in, the gift of present, the presence of gifts, fulfilling, wakening, nurturing, tingling, trembling, opening, connecting, releasing into ether, joining with the pulse, all life beautiful, rejuvenating, all sins of our past, rich, moldy compost, feeding all we become. Obviously, autumn fed, awe-filled, omnipresent, awkward, Auckland bound, omniscient, umbilical, opera, ollie Olsen free. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. All. Ah.
Wow.
Wow.
Talk about the life of the womb, right?
Yeah.
Like the big womb, the earth womb.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, Stevie.
Yeah.
I loved that visual of sins of our past, like rich, moldy compost.
Huh?
I wrote that down too.
That's
I wrote-
that is a total keeper one. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I love that too. Just it was almost like a aria, the whole thing.
Mhm. Mhm. An aria.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the end of it was kind of almost like spiraling out and then coming to this huge,
Crescendo.
yeah. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
I'll go.
Okay, yes.
I have a new party trick. It's pretty simple and it seems to work with a variety of crowds. It goes like this. I ask everyone to close their eyes and be still. Then I wait a moment because it's a beautiful thing to have people quiet with their eyes closed together. And just before I feel like someone is about to break the spell, I bend my knees. That's all. I just bend my knees and I release a symphony of snaps, crackles, and pops that has been warming up since the last time I squat down to get something. This Rice Krispie treat of sound can barely wait to make its way out of my tired and cranky knees. So I let them play their music. And people are shocked. Some laugh. Others look at me with genuine concern. What happened to you, actually? Well, Suzanne, my physical therapist, says it's called crepitus. And there's nothing to be done about it. Crepitus is a terrible name, but it's apt, if you ask me. It's creepy. Like a person with crepitus might creep past your doorman and slip into your apartment. People with crepitus probably lurk around where they shouldn't and keep low to the ground, stalking their prey. A crepitus person might try to sneak up on you, but the sounds of their joints will tell on them before they get there. But Suzanne says I should get used to it. It's not going away. The only thing left to do is learn the tune of my knees and try to sing along.
Transform, right?
Crepitus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, crepitus.
I love that crepitus going right into creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole character of crepitus, right?
I like the knees play their music.
Mm-hmm.
Rice Krispies treat of sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. But also just this party trick. I could see this house full of people just standing there with their eyes closed and this main character just going, and it was just, oh, that image is great.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm,
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Ness. Mm,
So dolls.
Yeah. Let me see. We find it here. I am certain that I would not have wanted to miss this for anything. Dying before now would have been a drag. Well, there were times I wished myself dead, a number of times, in fact. It was never deep enough, clear enough. It was never a powerful enough wish to take direct action. And the indirect actions I waved a finger at were inadequate to take hold. I did not die. Not of humiliation, nor of shame. Not of alcohol poisoning, nor of injuries sustained in countless crashes with inanimate objects made of even tougher material than my sturdy frame. I did not die of remorse or grief. That time on the stairs, crumpled in a rejected heap of tears, nah, that didn't do it either. I didn't attract enough attention from gravity to pull me off cliffs or roofs or the pedestal I had placed myself on, thinking I was destined for greatness. All that died was my ego, and that, as it turns out, can be reborn again and again. I would not have missed having a child or having lovers. I would not have missed the two I married. I would not have missed travel on a donkey's back or skating around the entire lake in Vermont on a moonlight December night, hand in hand with Stanley Stevens, the boy of my dreams. I would not have missed my loving family even when they suck, and at least this, in this moment, I would not have missed living after their deaths, feeling the emptiness they leave behind. I would not have missed any of it, I'm certain of that. I don't know the meaning of my life anymore than I know what happens when we die. Both are a mystery that I spend what may be an unusual amount of time contemplating. I pass through clouds of trying them on as an outfit, life beyond death or death beyond life, the spiral of it all, the circle of it. And I'm left with misty droplets in which the faintest idea remains suspended only to dissipate like a remembered dream. I feel myself suspended in that mist as I look out or look up into the sky. I think about forever, and it explodes my thoughts into shards of loose words and pictures, into notes that cannot form a melody but float in search of something, someone to connect to. I often feel unconnected. It's as though the mind that was downloaded into me refuses to commit to anything. She will not be a proper mind, one that thinks thoughts and then speaks them before they turn into something else. My thoughts come to me as temporary, so I don't lean into them too hard. I give them a nod, much like I would my daughter when she said she wanted to be Madonna when she grew up, or when she told me she hated me more than anything. So to say I don't believe in facts and I don't believe in truth is not so much that I don't care about what I think or what you think or what we think and cook up together. It's more that I feel change more than I feel anything else, except when I feel bad or I feel good, and then it feels like I will always feel that way, all the while knowing it's not true.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel change more than I feel anything else.
Mm.
She will not be a proper mind.
Yeah.
And that whole list of all the things you did not die from is so powerful.
Yeah.
Including the indirect actions that weren't intentional enough to cause death.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Rumpled stairs. Wow.
Thinking I was destined for greatness.
The line about misty droplets and suspended and that whole bit.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. The juxtaposition of wanting to be Madonna and hating you more than anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that it gets the same nod.
An ego that keeps being reborn.
Mm.
And I often feel unconnected.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was the sentence exactly, but something like, I pass through clouds trying them on as outfits.
Oh, I love that part too. Forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Dulcie.
Thank you.
That's kind of all I had prepared for today. And what I would love to do, just because I like us making the sounds, is just do one last sound together and then just all sign off and have a soft and nice rest of our Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here today and sharing the stories of your body. I'm gonna do our last countdown, so if you can all unmute yourself. Robin, I think you're still, yeah, there you are. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.